Okay, so I woke up this morning from a dream from my alarm clock, which I hate doing sometimes. And it takes me a minute, and I woke up maybe like a few minutes after 4 o'clock and came out of this dream. I don't remember the dream, and I did write some stuff down though. And what I wrote down was basically this. And I wrote it down on a piece of toilet paper because I was in the bathroom when I was given this information. So, anyways, this is what I wrote down right here. Okay? And what this says is husband and wife. Whoa, where'd you go? Okay. Husband and wife bond with gifts of extrasensory perception when they go through sleeplessness together. And what I'm talking about, and then I wrote control, priests, military. So you think about this, and I want you to think about it real hard. There are tools that are used to control humanity and society worldwide, okay? Human beings have special gifts. We have gifts. We're animals. We're living creatures. And I don't know 100% all these gifts because nobody's ever really talked to me too much about them. I've learned it from reading and from God and from a few people that have popped in and out of my life, okay? And when I say certain things to certain people, they tell me it's unusual and to give it to the Lord. That's my oldest senior elders. They tell me give it to the Lord. What they mean is talk to God. Keep your relationship with God. And that's something that I've learned very, very nicely, and to keep my personal relationship with God. And I've had one for years, decades, my whole life basically. And we all do. But sometimes we turn our back. We forget that God is there. But anyways, what I'm telling you is this, okay? The gifts that we have are used oftentimes by spiritual leaders and by military leaders and other leaders who identify them in people and then teach them about them, but they mold people because people use human beings to tell them. They let humans tell them what these gifts are rather than God, okay? So you've got a couple of them that I can tell you are called clairvoyance and clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is when you can hear other people's thoughts. Clairvoyance is when you can project your thoughts to them. It's basically like interacting without actually speaking audibly. ESP, extrasensory perception. So, but there's other ones. I don't know all these gifts, There's what some people call astral projection, where you travel outside of your body, and it's cultural, it's worldwide. These things are worldwide, and I do believe all humans have the potential for these things. But what happens is this. When a person of the structured system in our world understands you have these gifts, you go into their system files, kind of much like you work for Walmart. Well, then all of a sudden they try and control you with power. This is when you get beyond the world of money and you get into the world of power. Now, God has the power. God is the all-powerful. Human beings oftentimes use their abilities to intercede between God and other human beings for power. Now, I've been told to be careful about what I teach and what I understand and how I tell people things. What I'm trying to tell you is this. The main way that people come together traditionally has been marriage and children and childbearing. A husband and a wife get together, they have a baby, and during the time of raising the baby, they bond even closer because in those times of distress and those late nights and those sleeplessness, it's called sleep deprivation. Is a lot of times when you find your special gifts from God, and there's probably a lot more that I don't even know about, but when you find your gifts from God, you have to understand them in some way. And if you don't know how to do that or don't have somebody close to you to teach you, you become part of the mechanisms of society where other human beings will manipulate you and control you because they will both teach you the truth about what you learn about yourself with these special gifts, and they'll also deceive you so that they can control you with these gifts. And they'll tell you to use them as ways to control other people. So, and I think that's the difference between positive and negative. Is the positive is that having these gifts and learning about them and someone helps you with that. But the negative is when they teach you and control you with them, as well as to try to teach you to control other people with them. So with all that in light, the husband and the wife have sleepless nights, sleep deprivation, And as they start to hear things and understand clairvoyance and clairvoyance, hearing each other's thoughts, speaking to each other in their minds, in their spirits, with their souls, maybe not with their souls, but it's just a different thing. And so then they don't know who to go to talk to, because they think, wow, this is insane. This can't be possible. And who do they go to? They go to maybe a spiritual leader in the church. And it could be the Catholic Church. It could be, let's say in religion, a religious organization. It could be a rabbi. It could be a monk. It could be an imam. It could be a priest, a reverend, a pastor. It could be any sort of spiritual leader, okay? And that would include all kinds of New Age people. It could be what you might call like a witch or a wizard. I mean, it could be whatever you want to call it.
What have I got to say to them? But and I thought, well, with everything I've been through, I do know something about what it feels like to be an outcast. And I do know something about what it feels like to be told you're not worthy of God's love. Spent a lot of my life living in fear of God. And I preached that fear. And I preached it and I preached it and I preached it so much that I became afraid not to preach it.